Right. Hello. It's live. I don't know how the internet's going to be. Um, it's saying now. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm here, and I had to come on yesterday, but I don't know. Oh yeah, my computer was dead, and every time I put in the plug to charge it, it wouldn't charge, and so that was frustrating. But um, I'm here today. Let's just go back to what happened on Tuesday night. Which what happened happened. I don't like to look at his face or mention his name. I call him 45. I'll always call him 45. And, I get like other people, I keep getting the word shenanigans. Shenanigans happen. Everything just on that night, on Tuesday night, we all know what happened Tuesday night. Um, it was so fast. It was like pop, 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 done. And pardon this crude joke, that I made, but it was like 45. So please pardon me, but 45 came faster. The election results came faster for 45 than he did in Stormy. Ha, yeah, I know. Not very ladylike, but I don't believe it for a minute. I didn't believe it that night. I didn't believe it when it was happening, and I don't believe it now, and I'll never believe it. I'll never believe that 45 won the election. And so I'm going to try to go over all the things I've gotten. And, yesterday, Loretta did a reading. I took Karen for a walk. And as I was walking him, I saw she was doing a live and I listened. I was very comforted by what she was saying. And also, it resonated with me, everything she was saying. And also, I love that she was saying, we're not going to lie down and say that we were all wrong and that this was all legit. It wasn't. It was clear cheating. Like she said, Russia was Usha, for entertainment purposes only, was sending in bomb threats to voting locations. They were being, and especially Georgia and Pennsylvania, but Pennsylvania especially because that was the state when sent email there and all the things. Ballots were tampered with, and then they said, "Oh well, if your name was on a ballot that was tampered with, then you can vote on election day." And I thought, well, what happens if you can't vote on election day? Because we all knew they were going to mess with it and make it hard for people to vote on election day. And I thought, well, what would happen? The computers would go down, which happened, but also the bomb threats. And so it was 20 plus bomb threats from R, and so the stop votes, they closed the election, the voting locations, and said we'll open them up after the bomb threats over. Well, I have to say that most people at that point, most of us would say, I'm voting anyway, bomb threat or not, let me vote. And so then while people were waiting for them to reopen the voting locations in Pennsylvania, the RNC, and this is what happened. Too loud. Roger Stone said that they would do this, and Bannon said they would do this, where they were voting, and then they would purge votes, and then they would delay, and they would take it to the courts. So what they did while these bomb threats were rolling in from Putin, the RNC, Republican National Committee, went to the courts and said, stop the voting, stop them from reopening these voting locations. So many of these places did not reopen. And it was stalled. And then they said, yeah, after 7 o'clock, you can't vote anymore and you can't count votes anymore. That, like Loretta said, that was an attack of war on democracy. It was an attack of war on our voting system. It was stolen votes. Now, listen to this. I'm just going to go through all this and try to deal with my emotions. Yesterday was one of the hardest days of my life. Yes, I've had harder days, like when people have died, but it really felt like that. It felt like grief. I went through extreme grief that whole night. I kept waking up. I couldn't sleep. Then in the morning, I had to wake up my son and tell him what happened, that 45 had won, which I'll never believe that he won. And you can't make me. Okay, so I woke up and I was like in dread and just laying there and thinking, I don't want don't want to tell him this horrible news. I knew my daughter had already probably been online and looked and knew. My son, before he'd gone to bed on Tuesday night, he was like, Mom, what do you think is going to happen? And I was like, well, I see Kamala wins. I see her being inaugurated, but right now it doesn't look so good, and we'll just have to see what happens. And so when I had to tell him, and I told him straight up, I said, well, you know what? Something's off here. We're going to have to fight this. And we never really got rid of 45. That's the thing. Did we ever really get rid of him? He's been messing with our votes, our democracy, our country, in or out of the White House. We've never gotten rid of this guy. Never. And then you think, well, what if he just won last time? Then his term would be about to end, and he wouldn't, because he would make sure he didn't get out. So that's, we can say that's, I have always felt he should have never run in the first place. 2, he should have never been allowed on the ballot this last time. And yeah, I'm mad at Merrick Garland. Yeah, I've said all along, have I not? I remember the day I sat here at my desk and I said, y'all, Merrick Garland is working against us. Something ain't right. There's a rat in the system, and it's Merrick Garland. And he was, and then I kept getting from Spirit that he was working with the Federalist Society. And then I got money, and all these people have these nice houses and these nice cars, and their kids need to go to college, and yada yada. And their money is the root of all evil. Money corrupts people. It can do good things, but usually it corrupts people. And I got that Merrick Garland was another corrupted person. Yes, he had Jack Smith, but let me ask you, did Jack Smith ever get to successfully run his case? No. And I'll always feel like Merrick Garland was behind putting Eileen Cannon as the judge in the documents case down in Mar-a-Lago, Florida. I'll always feel that. So it was like, oh yeah, he appointed Jack Smith, but now maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong about that. But you can predict the future by looking at the patterns of the past, and what are the patterns of Merrick Garland. Not good. It's not good. I hope my connection is good. I hope I'm not cutting in and out. So far, it's not cutting me off. Yesterday, or the other day, when Loretta and I did a reading, or was it last week? I can't even remember, because all this has happened. I think it was last week. And I felt really bad because it kept cutting me off and cutting her off. And I think just having to stream between 2 people was too much for my internet. And then I got on my neighbor's internet because they let me, and I thought that would be good, but it still cut me off. Maybe it's the, forces out there that don't want me to talk. You guys, these are rough times. These are rough times, and you have to be strong. We've been strong. We have to be strong. Take your moments of rest, nurture yourself, watch a comedy, listen to music, sit out in nature, but then come back, because we do have to fight this. We are going to have to march. This is always this time of day, my phone. I should have turned off the ringer. Okay, so here's the thing. We're going to have to march. Here's what I feel. 20 million Democrat votes have not been counted. People are waking up today and yesterday and today and seeing that their vote that was once said it was accepted now has been rejected. People did not receive their ballots. And we had burning boxes. My ballot has never said that I voted. I went in 2 weeks ago and I voted. My daughters as well. I'm in Kansas. Vote 20 million and plus Democrat votes are not being counted, and some of them are being rejected. Hello, we have a problem. I always saw Kamala winning. All the networks, all the psychics, all the tarot readers, we all saw Kamala winning. I still see her being inaugurated. I still see it. But we're having to deal with this evil. Now, here's the thing. So and now this is where we go into perhaps conspiracy theory land, but I am an intuitive. And so I'm going to tell you, and I'll tell some more personal things, okay, real quick. So let's mourn this. Yes, on Tuesday morning, I got up and I pulled some cards, and I got the 3 of Swords, and I was like, uh-oh, that's not good. And it almost was like, and I say Elon Musk because this is what he does, and I've always felt he does this. Elon Musk has a way to use the algorithms with his Starlink out there. And Uten and Melissa Free Range said this yesterday too. I really appreciate that. Oh, thank you, Jamie. That's sweet. Oh, I wish, like with all this going on, my son and I were talking last night about how much we would, because I came home from work last night and I turned on Star Trek and I was like, I would do anything to get off this planet or to get out of this country. I would do anything to get out of this country, but we have to stay and fight. But just for a while to get off this planet and go out into space, I get it now. I get it. I love the earth, but I would totally take a respite and go off into the universe for a while. And I told my son that's a really good way to get to leave troubles behind for a while, is to meditate and visualize yourself up in space, looking down over the earth and just being away from it, giving yourself a break because it's really hard. My empathetic soul yesterday was in complete pain, and I'm like, I have headaches today. And I had to go to work, and then there was a MAGA lady at work who was celebrating. It was so hard to not just sit and cry all day, but I had to be strong for my kids and even my pets. And, we're going to fight this. But anyway, thank you, Jamie. That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. Yeah, I would love to go more and more. I would love to be in England so much. That Jamie, that Midas Man movie came out about Brian Epstein. Yeah, Brian Epstein. I hate to say the name Epstein because of here in America, it's a bad name right now, but Brian Epstein is a beautiful person. And it said last week, it was like, oh, it's out on Amazon Prime or Apple TV. I looked, it's only in the UK, so I can't watch it. And I'm just like, damn it. Why is it that we have all these universal streaming devices, but I have to wait? Here I am, like one of the biggest Beatle fans in the world. And I wrote this book about John Lennon and Brian Epstein, and I can't even watch the movie. But so I have to wait. It would be so nice to just watch that movie and just escape for a while. And, I need a good movie. But yeah, thank you, Jamie. That's beautiful. Well, I posted that picture that I saw. It said John's girl or whatever, someone's license plate. And then the next day I saw a license plate that said Liverpool. And I was like, interesting. Oh, but yeah, thank you. That's beautiful. So with all this happening, you think so many people are saying, I don't believe in God anymore. I've lost my faith. I don't even believe in karma anymore. And I just thought that's what this energy wants us to do. Like I was talking about with Elon, how he manipulates energy. On Tuesday night, I was like praying and doing all these manifestations and burning sage and all the positive stuff that would always work. Generally, it would always work. And I was like, it ain't working. It's not working. I really feel like Elon has this weird, and Uten has a weird psychic thing where they're able to call the universe together and ruin all our prayers at key moments. And I think it's AI. It's conspiracy theory land. But I've always felt that with Elon, and we have to fight back. Spirit is stronger. Spirit is stronger. And they only had that one night to do it. Most of the time, they're not able to. And as I was telling my son last night, and he really liked this, my son and I have had these long conversations, how there's this darkness, and you could feel yesterday the dark. And we are light workers. And when you have, let's say, all this darkness, and you have a pinprick of light, then the dark is destroyed completely. When dark is complete darkness, you're in complete darkness, but light has the ability to illuminate everything at just a pinpoint of light. And that's what we are. Light workers are that pinpoint of light, even in the darkest of times. And overall, I believe that Spirit has our back. And moments like this, like Jamie, like you're saying, I think of that. I think of how, I'll post the video, but I had, a voice say, and I think it was John, say, Amy, I love you. Because it was around his birthday, and I was like, John, I've heard you say things, and I see your orb and all these images, and I've never really heard you say, I love you. And then it was right after his birthday, and I got that recording where it said, Amy, I love you. I'll post that because I want people to know that there's magic and miracles are real, and Spirit is stronger than all of this darkness. Spirit is stronger than this darkness. And the only thing that is real is love. Everything else is false reality. Um, so even if we go through the worst of the worst, 45's back in office and all that stuff, Spirit will still be with us. And we have to believe in that. It's just really difficult. It's very painful. I look very pale. Look, my eyebrows are too dark, by the way. Whatever, who cares? And I've got a headache today, so it's just hanging in there. So let me say this. Okay, so I want to go into, yesterday was a rough day. My son, I got up this morning. I feel a little bit better, even with my headache, but I drove my son to school, and before we said anything, we got in the car, turned the radios on, I'm driving him to school, and the first thing I said is, here's the plan. and he was like, okay, yes, mother, what's the plan? And I said, here's the plan. We know this election was stolen. We know that there's like 20 million plus missing Democratic ballots. We know that it all happened too fast. They haven't done all the counts. Ballots are missing. My ballots are missing. My ballot, and my daughter's ballot are missing. A whole bunch of people's ballots are missing. We know this was stolen. We know that Elon helped. We know that Usha Uten helped. We know that Roger Stone and Steve Bannon had a plan. This is January 6th, part 2. Stop delay voting. Stop delay the count. Subvert and trade false ballots and votes. This is what they tried to do on January 6th with the false electors. They managed to do it this time with votes. Guess what? It's not going to work. And when Kamala conceded, which that's not a legal binding thing, and I told my son, she's Scorpio. She's a Libra Scorpio, and my son is Scorpio, and I'm Taurus, and I believe that all Tauruses are secretly Scorpio. And I said, you know what? The Scorpios don't get mad. They get quiet. Scorpios get quiet. And that's what she's doing. She's playing possum right now, folks. Kamala is playing possum, and they are on this, and I believe 100% that they knew, and Nancy Pelosi especially, they knew this was going to happen, and it happens in such an obvious manner. I mean, literally people's ballots, they don't think we can screenshot. They don't think that people at the voting locations aren't going to remember us when we voted that day and our votes haven't been counted. They're so stupid. There's going to be a national recount. And I told my son, here's the plan. No Christmas. We can have Christmas after Kamala is inaugurated. We're not going to celebrate. I don't think that any Democrat in this country should celebrate Christmas this year. None. No Christmas. We're not going to do Christmas shopping. Yeah, maybe at home we could have our own private, like paganistic, earthy Christmas, But what is Christmas if we are allowing this hate to spread across not just America, but the world? Kamala is a president for the world. The world wanted Kamala, and people voted for her. You can't tell me that she didn't win that election. More people voted for her. The world wanted her. This is a war against democracy, and it's Usha Uten did it, and this is a war against women. We have a war in Ukraine. We have a war in Gaza. This is a war against women, and it's a war against love. And we are not going to lay back and take it. We are not. Democrats have been too nice. We've been too passive. We allow and we say, oh, we'll fix it later, or we're just too nice. No more. I'm not talking violence. I'm not talking any of that. This is all peaceful. But we're going to fight. We are not going to do Christmas until there's a recount. And if we have to re-vote, we'll do it. If we have if I have to go help volunteer and do hand recounts, I'll do that. We will do what it takes. But this monster stole our votes. My vote was stolen. And I'm not going to put up with it. I'm not going to put up with it. They messed with the wrong person and the wrong country. People love Kamala and they want her, and we will have her. I'm in the Kamala cult. And she is now my president for life. And if I have to hold her up on a sign like people in third world countries have their person that they love on a picture and a t-shirt, and I'll do it. Kamala is my president, and she's the president for the world, and they're not going to steal it from us. They're not going to. It's not going to happen. We're going to fight this. So I'm calling upon all people to boycott Christmas. No Christmas. And I really think we should boycott Amazon and all these, Washington Post, all these places who supported 45. And I can't watch the news. I'm not watching the news. I'm not reading anything with his face. His face is evil. He's a horrible darkness. He said he could steal an election, and he did, for entertainment purposes only. He said what he was going to do, and he did. And Elon, that day that Elon jumped around on stage behind him, I heard the fix is in. Here's the question. This is what Spirit told me today. They said, Amy, and I don't get voices, but I get, the intuitions. They said, Elon Musk used AI to steal the election. Now, does that sound far-fetched? He had a rocket full of Starlink satellites spewed out into space last week, and I was like, there he goes, messing with the algorithm, trying to mess with our election, trying to suffocate our voice. Google. I went on today to an AI tarot reading that I do sometimes, and I said, did Elon Musk use AI to steal the election? And it's like, we can't answer that. And so I said some other question, we can't answer that. Whereas like a week ago, I could ask things like that. It's not letting me now. It's not letting me. Kamala only had 2 months to prepare. Trump had 4 years. Yeah, I agree. I still can't believe it that a known criminal got as many votes. He didn't get all those votes. When I saw the results, I thought that's it. We're fucking had it now. Yeah. He's a liar. He's a criminal. And go figure, a convicted criminal. And all the people around him, like Roger Stone, Bannon, Flynn, that were in jail, that he pardoned and got out of jail, so he's surrounded with criminals. Go figure, they would steal an election, right? It doesn't take a psychic to see that. We all know it. You guys across the world know it. And I'm really disappointed when I go online and I see people saying, we can't talk about stolen elections. Yes, we fucking can, and we will. We're going to talk about it. We're going to have an argument. We're not going to put up with this. This was stolen. My vote was stolen. My daughter's vote was stolen. People across the country, their votes were stolen. That election came in too fast. Last time, it took until a Saturday for them to decide to get all the votes in and find out that Biden had won. So you're going to tell me that by 8:30 p.m. and all this pop, red, 45, 45, 45. Right. Ohio? Sure. Okay. He did not win. What he did was, with Elon and his criminals, and well, they're all criminals, and Usha, Uten, they stopped, they delayed, they've stolen votes, they've swapped votes, and Elon used AI. He used AI. And I said this after 2020, just because we won doesn't mean there wasn't cheating, and the cheating not on our side, but on their side. But because we won, we said, when we won't talk about the stuff we should have talked about all the stuff they did. Well, of course, Jack Smith has laid it out, but we're the unsilent. That's right. We're not going to put up with this shit. We were robbed, and we're not going to let our beautiful Kamala, who is the leader and the president for the world, we're not going to let that go. Yes. Now, my son was devastated. I was devastated, but yeah, we're going to fight this. We're going to fight. I need to move my leg. My leg fell asleep. So yeah, yesterday I was in a world of pain, of empathetic pain. I'm glad I went to work last night because it took my mind off it a little bit. But then by the end of the night, I was having just trouble breathing because I was just so depressed over this. And I say that not in I should go. I saw people say online that they were going to go kill themselves. And I'm like, no, we need to fight. Don't give up. And we were born for this time. We're born for this time. We came here specifically to be here, to be the beacons of light in this darkness. And I'm a truth sayer. Okay, so I'm going to finish what I was saying about Elon, was that, and for entertainment purposes only, in 2020, I said before anything came out about this in the news, it was after January 6th, but I don't remember when it was. No, it was before January 6th. It was Thanksgiving. It was still 2020. So the election had happened, but I got a message from Spirit, okay? And I said, Elon tried, didn't succeed, but tried to use Starlink to intercept the voting machines. And I said, you know how Spirit told me this? Because, okay, and I know, and then someone told me I was crazy, and that's why I stopped talking about it, and I took down the video, and I never talked about it again, okay? So he sends up all these Starlink satellites, right? And I picked up on it way before all the Ukraine stuff, way before anyone picked up on him and Twitter and all X and all that. And Spirit showed me this. He said, you know how they keep advertising your heater, the what do you call it, the thermostat, and they used to come to your house and they would check the meter. They would have a meter reader would check your water and your electricity and your gas and all that stuff. And it's and they told me that now they're reading it online. They're using Wi-Fi to check your meter. They don't come to your house anymore. And they said that's what Elon Musk is tried to do to voting machines. I said that, and someone went on my channel and said, you're crazy and you need to go to the doctor and go have therapy. And so I took down the video. I was like ashamed. I took down the video and I never talked about it ever again. And of course, for entertainment purposes only, this, So then they started talking about it with January 6th. After January 6th, they talked about how Sidney Powell and others talked about that. And they said the Democrats tried to do that. And I was like, that's what Spirit told me they tried to do. And this was before anybody said it. And that's what a psychic hit I got. A psychic hit that I got about Elon Musk. And then everything else happened. But I was shamed into submission to not talk about that. But and so today Spirit said Elon Musk used AI to help steal the election. Now, what would we do? Do we have to do hand recounts? Yes. We need to go in and get all the paper ballots, and we need to do hand counts or recounts, because some of them, a whole bunch of them didn't get counted at all. So it's not even a recount. And unless they do this, we're not going to celebrate Christmas. And I want you guys to be with me on this because I can't do it alone. We all need to do this together. And across the world, we need to boycott Christmas because we have to save democracy. We have to. If we don't save democracy now, there will be no Christmas. Do you understand? We have to do this. We have to fight for democracy. And I really feel like when Kamala conceded yesterday, she put out a word of, they're looking into it. Nancy Pelosi's not going to let this go. Let me tell you that. And Kamala is a DA. She's not going to let it go. They knew this would happen, right? And it was such blatant cheating. It's so, yeah. But all I can say is fight, peacefully fight. Don't give up. Take your moments where you have, you go watch a movie, listen to comedy, all that. But, and then come back. We're going to need everyone, all hands on deck to fix this. So I'll take any questions that anyone has, any more comments. Obviously, I got out my thing, but it's been hard. So yeah, I went to work last night, and this one lady who's MAGA, and she's like, "What's wrong? You don't seem like in great spirits." And I said, "Oh yeah, the election." And she's like, "What? Aren't you happy that 45 won?" And I was like, "No." And she's like, "Why?" And I said, "Well, I had an abusive father, and 45 is very much like that. And it's really disappointing to be in this energy and watch it spread across our country." And she said, "Yeah, he's a little bit of a narcissist." But she said, "But aren't you happy he's going to get rid of the illegals?" And I said, "Well, I grew up with a lot of illegal immigrants. I grew up with Puerto Ricans and Latino, and I grew up with, from every ethnicity and culture and all of that. And my ancestors were from Ireland and France, and my great-grandmother was an indentured servant in Staten Island and was raped. So, we're all immigrants here. We're all immigrants." Anyway, when she said that, it was like I completely see her in a different light now. But because I work with her, you can't get in arguments with people. And I was like, oh, well, let's just not talk about it. And she's like, really? Really? You support immigrants? And I was like, and she said, what about the cartel and drug dealers? So I was like, but let's not talk about it. And I played nice, which I hate to do. You know me. I don't really like to do that. Um, so then I was in the buffet later. The buffet, it's a nice buffet. It's not like I'm slaving over and, it kind of stood there and had a moment when it got quiet. And I just thought, my God. So you'd have 13-year-old girls bleeding to death in parking lots because now they don't have any rights over their body. Just because you don't like some illegals. Here's the thing, there's always going to be illegals. We're connected to Mexico. We're connected to them. We're supposed to embrace them. We go down there, the stories of teenage boys losing their virginity down there with a Spanish fly, having sex with 16-year-old prostitutes. That seems to be okay. That seems to be okay with people in America. But if they cross the border, they're horrible people. F that. F that. And, we're all illegal. What person have you known here or anywhere who isn't smoking pot illegally and broken the speed limit, broken laws, cheated on their I don't cheat on my taxes, or I try not to do any of that stuff, obviously. But all the people who say they don't like illegals that I've known have all done illegal stuff. I've seen them all do illegal things. So who's the illegal? And it really pisses me off that people are going to look at someone who's from another country that we're connected to. You can't just build a wall. By the way, the wall, I've seen people get through it. I've seen people climb over it and whole sections of it fall down. It was a grift. It was a scam. I'm sorry. It's just too much for me, but I'm here. I'm a warrior, I guess. And that's, the story of him having a dislike for immigrants is that two of his wives, I know, are European and all of his kids are half European. I mean, for fuck's sake, Donald, exactly. He's a hypocrite. He's a freaking hypocrite. And, these, I hate to say it, but these rich, let them eat cake people want to take over the government. And they're so smug. And they're big, fancy mansions, hating on immigrants and being racist. See, I got strikes on TikTok because, I talked about all that flashism. I got strikes. So I can't really go on TikTok and talk about it, which is sad because I was trying to wake people up before the election. Little did I know there really isn't any way to wake up people on that side. But we have to fight the fact that they stole our votes. So yeah, he's a hypocrite. Oh, and before the election, the story came out where Epstein said, for entertainment purposes only, but it was an audio recording of him saying he knew the ins and outs of the White House and people who worked there. This is before he left the earth. Jeffrey Epstein, you know what I'm talking about. And he also said things about 45 being with teenage girls, which I always said, and pictures of them together. And he said that he slept with Melania. Jeffrey Epstein slept with Melania for entertainment purposes only. I mean, the fix is in. It's all corrupt. They're the corruption. I'm so sick of having to fight this. I've been fighting this for a long time now. I'm just tired. That's why you do have to take a break. But, it's really heartbreaking. It really is. So, yeah, I'll sit back here for a bit. Let me tell you this. The energies were bad. So I'll let you guys comment. But and thank you for being here. Thank you. I appreciate you guys being here. This is a time when we really all have to comfort each other and come together because it's a very tough time. So on Saturday, I took Kieran for a walk. My cute little Kieran. We never have trouble. He's very sort of anxious, and so am I. And we avoid people. He likes little kids more than people, like big people, and he likes little dogs. And every once in a while, there's a big dog sort of like jumps at him, but everything's okay. So we walk around the park. It's a pretty fall day. Halloween's over. The leaves are falling down. It's kind of a beautiful November landscape, and it's kind of chilly and cloudy, and it's just that beautiful type of day. And then we round the corner, and we're heading back to the car. And out of nowhere are all these three dogs and a mom and a couple kids. And one of the dogs, it's a boxer, gets loose and starts to attack Kieran. And it bites him in the neck 3 times. Luckily, he had his harness on. He has like some bite marks on his ear. But, and Kieran was yiping and screaming, that horrible sound that dogs make when they're scared and they're in pain. And he was being attacked. And I couldn't get the dog off. And I was like, get off, stop. And I had to pull up Kieran by his harness, his leash, and swing him in the air and grab him to stop this dog from attacking him. So then the lady takes her dogs and she goes off. And, I didn't have her stay because I had to stop the situation from getting worse and having another attack. So she left. And then I was shaking and Kieran was shaking, and we just sat there for a while. I held him and I was like, what is this? What is this energy? Oh my God, this is horrible energy. And I really thought, oh my God, this is that energy where before the election where they're trying to really make us all be depressed and feel scared, and the darkness is gonna win. And so the next day we go for a walk at a nearby park where we walk a lot. And again, a dog came out of nowhere and tried to attack him again. And I grabbed Kieran and I said, no, 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 to the dog and his owner. And I thought, oh my God, this is really bad energy. This is really bad energy in the universe right now. And I have to go in 13 minutes. I have to go pick up my son. Actually, I have to go, 13 minutes. I got to go. Mad off. Okay. So yeah, the energy's been bad. And I had a glimpse of that with Kieran, that the energy was bad. And I've had people, I saw somebody today say they saw a hawk grab a dove and attack it. And then later that day, they saw another hawk grab a dove and attack it twice in one day. And I was like, that's that same energy that I saw with Kieran. That's Uten. That's Elon. I swear, you have to shield yourself. You have to. I should have on election night. I kept getting the message I needed to do this, and I forgot to do it because I was like everyone else. I was in a world of like paralysis, where you open up your heart chakra and spread out pink. So we can all still do this. You spread out pink, glowy energy that stops the negative, attacking, hateful energy. We still need to do this, and we need to chant and pray, Kamala is our president. Kamala is our president. Kamala is our president. And say that every day. I pray for the most benevolent outcome, that this is resolved and Kamala is our president. Okay, so how did Trump manage to keep his fortune when every other client of Bernie Madoff were destroyed? I just got to say, 45 is like the most evil, and the people around him, for entertainment purposes only, he is one evil MFer. And I'll never understand how he gets by with all this, but the universe really sent the darkest, besides Uten, 45, the things that he did with Epstein for entertainment purposes only, darkness. I can't even look at him. I'm not watching the news. I'm not reading stories about him. I can't even watch Midas Touch anymore because I can't look at his face. Banished. 45 is banished. We have to clean this up, and we have to bring the light back. And do the heart thing. We put the pink heart. I don't know how 45 does all this with the money and everything, but he's dark energy. We were. So I told you how they did it. And Spirit told me today, they said Elon Musk used AI to steal the election. And with Uten and everything else. So you have to go soon. So I'll take like 1 or 2 more comments, questions. I love you guys. Love you, Jamie. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for that message about the thing in Liverpool. That's beautiful. And I need to see, Jamie, you go watch the Midas Man movie and tell me how it was, because I can't watch it. I'm so sad. I want to watch it so bad. Last night driving home from work, even listening to music was painful. I can usually like switch into a certain brain mode and listen to music and just chill out on the way home or the way to work. I was just in so much pain that I was like, even music, I felt like I was in a bubble of sadness and despair and grief, like true grief. Um, but we grieve together and we get up and we rise. And Kamala said, when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. And she meant that. We have to fight this. We have to fight to get our ballots counted, y'all. We have to. That's, like Loretta said yesterday, what's wrong with everybody? What's wrong with all the psychics coming on and saying, well, I was wrong? I said it too because I felt like I had to. But I also was like, but something happened. Something happened. Yeah, I'm lost. I know. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you. It's so hard. I appreciate that. It's so hard. This is just so depressing, and thank you. I appreciate that because yeah, this is I've been fighting, I look back to 2000 before the 2016 election. I think I started my channel in like 2014 or 15. That's really when I started getting my gifts. And I was going through a hard time in my life, and that took until 2019 is when I finally got out of that situation. But 2014 was really when I started awakening my gifts, and I started a YouTube channel, started reading tarot and and all that stuff. And then I fought quietly in this bedroom in my house every day and through the pandemic and through everything, 45, and have been a person of spreading the truth about 45 almost every day here. And I've been doing this for a long time. I know people probably think I haven't been around, but I have. I've been here, and different forms of Twitter and social media. I've been spreading the news of what 45 is up to, and Elon and Uten and others. And it's not easy, but I've done it all this time, and I'm not done yet. I'm not going to watch any tarot channels that say that we lost and that it's legit. I'm not going to watch the news. We're going to stay in the mindset of truth, which is that it's clear this election was stolen. And we have a right to say that. We have a right. They got to say it for the last 4 years. We have a right to say it. It's our turn now. And we are right. They did. They stole this. There's no way in hell that all those states were decided for 45 in like by 9 o'clock at night. There's no way. There's no way. Here's the thing. People said they cast their ballots, but they weren't counted. People said their ballots were showing counted a day before. Now they're being removed. Some people never got their ballots. Some people's were rejected. My ballot was never counted. 20 million and counting Democratic ballots have not been counted. Now, some people said, well, that's those pro-Palestine kids that voted for Jill Stein. And I'm like, listen, they showed that all 17 million voters from 2020 that were Democrat are missing from this election. We had more. We added. We didn't lose votes. We added. Those were the high school students in 2020. They weren't voting. So they weren't even voting yet. Those are not lost votes. Those weren't even votes at the time. We should have more votes, and we do have more votes. I swear it's going to be more than 20 million that have been, through Elon, stolen, and we need a recount. We will have a recount. So I have to go. I love you. Thanks for being here. I look so pale. I swear, when I look in the mirror, I look different. When I do like Zoom or something, like I'll use Zoom to put on my makeup in the morning because I can just sit and like I look okay. And then I use StreamYard and I look like an alien. I just look awful. But whatever. I'll deal with it. That's life. That's why I don't go and show my face all the time, because I'm very insecure about that. Like John says, I'm very vain. Whatever. So I am. Shine on. You too, Jamie. Thanks for being here. Love you. Thank you. And we'll get through this, but we have to demand a recount, and we need all of you across the world to fight for us. We need you to fight for us. More than it's really important. More than anything in the world, we all have to fight for democracy. Yeah. Thank you. Love you. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Thanks for being here, everybody. Remember, when we